Nintendo Switch 2 is the talk of the town right now. It is the big thing that everyone's waiting for Nintendo right now for 2024, and odds are we're probably going to get some type of announcement with the next couple of months coming. And with that said, a lot of people are excited to see what this console even is and all the perks of getting this brand new Switch, but me, I'm more focused on software, and I am super excited to see what we could get game-wise from Nintendo. The current rumors swarming around this new console are coming out saying that this console is going to be miles more powerful than that of the base Nintendo Switch we have right now, which means a more powerful console will constitute for more powerful games. And I cannot stop thinking about all the games that we could get on this new console. Yes, I know we're still on the Switch, but let's face it, the Switch is definitely on its last couple of legs, because just look at some of the software coming out right now. It's filled with remakes, remasters, and ports, so I think it's time to start predicting what big games we could be getting for this console, as a lot of the rumors are suggesting we could get this console as early as this summer, and maybe even just this holiday, which is super exciting. And if you look at the Nintendo Switch, you could tell year one that Nintendo was not only experimenting with tons of crazy titles, but their big titles were pretty big. Breath of the Wild, one of the biggest Nintendo games of all time, giving you a massive open world to explore, and Super Mario Odyssey, giving you huge kingdoms to run around in and collect, and tons of areas to explore as well. Maybe not as open as Breath of the Wild, but you can't argue that these are two of Nintendo's biggest games in a very long time, which makes me super excited to see what's to come with this brand new Nintendo Switch console that's apparently coming soon. I'm going through launch titles, year one games, and part of year two games for the Nintendo Switch Pro, so stay tuned with me. I'm kind of talking about a grand scheme of games that could be coming in the near future. But before we get started, you guys have been killing it lately, making our way to 300,000 subscribers. Let's see how fast we can reach it. Everybody watching this video right now, leave a like and subscribe if you're excited for a big brand new Mario game this year and a brand new console reveal as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's jump into the video. So starting things off right, let's start off by talking about Mario, because Mario is the next game up. It's one of the only games that makes sense right now outside of like maybe Donkey Kong. But yes, Super Mario is due for a 3D Mario game, and all the rumors are saying it's going to be open world, and we've talked about this a million bajillion times. There's not much else to say but the fact that this is going to look phenomenal on Nintendo's new console. Of course, it's not going to be super realistic, so the graphics themselves aren't going to make people fall out of their chairs per se, but if it looks like Odyssey and even better, goodness gracious, this game is going to be beautiful. Seeing larger than life environments, a giant map to explore, and tons of regions full of color and saturated goodness, it's going to look phenomenal on the new console and run beautifully. I mean, if the Nintendo Switch can run Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it can definitely run an open world Mario game with even more demanding graphics. Talk about a way to start off the brand new console, and actually we don't have many open world games from Nintendo so far, so this would be awesome. Right now, just Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and you can maybe say Xenoblade has jumped into that territory with like Xenoblade X, but yeah, Mario, open world. You can't get better than that. It's going to sell monumental, especially with the movie just releasing as well last year. So yeah, get ready, because this game is going to blow our minds. The long wait was for a reason, I do believe so. Another launch title that seems likely is maybe something showing off this new console and what it can do. Now, it doesn't need to be gimmicky really, but just something that's fun for everyone. Something that someone can pick up this console and just have a blast playing with. And to me, a lot of people would say maybe another sports game or something. No more Switch Sports, no more Wii Sports, none of that. I think the sports era needs to just move on and stick to just the Mario franchise. But I'm looking for something more like 2'sLand. I told you it was the whole inspiration for this channel because it's just so awesome to have all these IPs and these little various mini games, and a lot of them made me realize some of these games are actually a lot of fun. This is the perfect way to get people more interested in other franchises, and maybe it's like a 2'sLand 2 that has even more mini game to get people interested in other things, and Nintendo can gauge what people find more interesting. Maybe have like a Star Fox mini game, a Fire Emblem or Xenoblade mini game, and just some other mini games that, you know, kind of go along with the games that they come from, so that way you can get a taste of what those games are like, but in more of a party setting. And honestly, I think this is the best way and a great way to launch with a brand new console. You got your Mario, you got your party kind of everyone can come over and play game. it makes a lot of sense, unless like it's a Mario Party game that would also kind of work, I guess, in that category. But I'm really hoping for like Nintendo Land 2, baby. That is just, it's such an underrated game, and it didn't get the love it deserved because of the poor sales of the Wii U. Now moving away from launch title to something that we know, Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 4, oh my goodness. It was literally announced at the beginning of the Switch's life cycle, and then we knew it got rebooted, and we still haven't really heard of anything from it 7 years later. So what is going on with Metroid Prime 4? Well, I told you guys from the very beginning, I was very confident that they are definitely pushing this thing to the next console. If Metroid Prime Remaster looks that good on Nintendo Switch, I can only imagine how good Metroid Prime 4 is going to look on brand new hardware. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be that realistic game that we're all looking for. Something to really blow us out of our chairs and make us all. I think this is a game that Nintendo is also going to show within a Nintendo Switch 2 presentation to really get people to see how powerful this console is. You're going to see the water drops going down Samus's visor. You're going to see the smoke in the atmosphere. Everything is just going to look so surreal. It's going to be beautiful. And it's going to be a big game moving into that first year of 2025 full of Switch 2 games. It's going to be a blast. People are going to love this game, and especially if it has fully pre-rendered cutscenes that look like they came straight out of a movie on this new console. Ooh, baby. Yeah, it's gonna be a game. But what else is gonna happen in 2025? I'll tell you right now, Mario Kart. Dude, it will be 11 years since the original Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U moving into 2025. That is nuts. Yes, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out on the Switch in 2017 and then added DLC the last 2 years. But come on, man, it's Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart 10, Mario Kart X, Mario Kart Crossroads, whatever. All the rumors are saying different names, but it's time for the next Mario Kart game. And I will honestly eat a bowl full of worms. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but it's coming in 2025. I'm not wrong about this because it just makes sense. Nintendo wanted to get out all this DLC to hold us over for the last couple of years to gear us up for the big new Mario Kart on this next new console. Nintendo doesn't need to touch Mario Kart 8 on this new console right now. They need to just focus on the next game. Get everybody jumping on this game because this is the gold mine for Nintendo. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold gangbusters, so it has to do the same with this next new installment, and it is going to look fabulous. It's probably going to have some type of crazy new mechanic that only this new console can operate with. Yes, the long wait is almost over, especially for us Wii U owners. Oh my goodness, 11 years to finally touch a brand new Mario Kart with brand new tracks is going to be so glorious. And what else is it time for after all that time? Well, Super Smash Brothers, baby. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate came out on the tail end of 2018, so it's not fully 7 years, but it's very close. At the end of 2025, it will be 7 years since Smash Ultimate, and let's be honest, Nintendo wants to get a Smash Brothers game out on this new console for sure, especially with upgraded hardware. It's not only going to look really good, it's going to run amazing, especially with all the characters on screen. I'm still, kind of predicting it to have like 8-player Smash and stuff, but I do think this is going to be the reboot for the series. Eventually, finally kind of taking all the characters that they've had in the game and just rebooting them. Instead of having all these crazy third-party guest characters, it's going to focus more on first-party characters once again, maybe some new first-party characters that we have not gotten yet, and also just rewriting how each of the characters work, which just to me is the best option. Finally, changing Mario's moveset after all these years is just a must. Ganondorf definitely needs an upgrade, and I could just go throughout the entire roster. So many of the characters had so many video games that have come out since Smash 64 and even Smash Melee to the point where they definitely need an upgrade. For crying out loud, I know Sonic is probably still going to be in it, but can he have more than a spin dash? It's time for a reboot, and if you guys haven't heard, Sakurai has announced that this is the last year that he will be posting content on his channel, which could very well mean that he is working on a new project. Is it Kid Icarus? Is it the next Smash Brothers? Probably the next Smash Brothers, but yeah, it seems like he is maybe even right now starting to work on this next game or just kind of look over production for this Smash Brothers reboot. But yeah, that is definitely a game that you want to see on this new console. Also, in 2025, it will be 6 years since Luigi's Mansion 3. A lot of people thought this year could even be a year we saw Luigi's Mansion 4, the next installment, but it seems like they're using it as kind of a hold-off year. This is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD's year, where it doesn't look like a whole lot of work is going into this this. I don't want to underplay the development of bringing a 3DS game to the Switch. It might be a lot harder than I even imagined. But yeah, I still think this is just a small title that they just wanted to throw at us, while the actual Next Level Games development team works on Luigi's Mansion 4, which is probably going to be pretty daggone good. And especially with this new hardware, I'm actually expecting them to expand on this game greatly, especially with the amazing sales that Luigi's Mansion 3 had on the Switch. I expect this game to be kind of phenomenal, honestly. Now, Luigi's Mansion 3 was already almost pure perfection. Seriously, I love that game so much. But I would love to see maybe a huge mansion that we can actually explore whenever we want. Kind of like the first game, you couldn't explore that mansion however you wanted. It was kind of a linear-based game. You had to go in certain orders in order to reach certain sections, but could you imagine if we could just go around a giant mansion and collect any type of portrait ghost that we want in any order and just go around messing around in this giant huge house that we can explore? Maybe even have more full range with the camera. I don't really know how you would control that because the controls are a little weird, but it would be so cool to see something a lot more massive for Luigi's Mansion, and I still think there's a really good shot we could see that in 2025. One of the last big games that could come out in 2025 would be a new Donkey Kong game, because where is Donkey Kong? Yes, it's been since 2014, just like Mario Kart, since we've seen Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which was on the Wii U. Yes, it was brought back and just kind of ported over to the Nintendo Switch in 2018, but yeah, we haven't seen or heard anything since, and I will argue till this day that Tropical Freeze is one of Nintendo's best games they've ever made. So whether it's a brand new 2D game, which I feel like with this new console, they really want to show off the power of what the worlds can look like in this game. So I would love to see like a Donkey Kong Country 3D world. You see what I'm saying? Like, it would not necessarily be open world, but more like Super Mario 3D World, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, along those type of vibes, where it's maybe a fixed camera, but you get to run around and kind of go through some linear 3D levels, or maybe even a sandbox style, kind of like Mario Odyssey, Mario 64, or Mario Sunshine. I definitely don't think they need to go open world, like an open jungle or anything with Donkey Kong. If they do, you know what? Hats off to Nintendo. They're going crazy. But especially after with a big open world Mario game in 2024, if that even happens, I would love to see more of a confined 3D kind of, you know, platform-focused Donkey Kong game. I think that would be really good. We haven't had a 3D Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong 64 on the Nintendo 64, so come on, Nintendo. I also think in 2025, we could see the new gen, which I believe is Gen 10. I'm not a huge Pokemon fan at all, but you know what? I'm trying here. But yeah, the new gen for Pokemon. I think they're definitely going to want to show this off and finally show what new hardware can do for Pokemon. Now, it's up to the development team to actually put effort into this game. You know, it doesn't matter what type of hardware that they're working on. This game cannot be rushed, and I wouldn't even mind if it waited another year. I think Pokemon fans wouldn't really mind if it waited another year just to make sure that it's at tip-top shape, but yeah, hopefully the Pokemon team has been really working with this console and really making sure that the bugs are out, that it actually has really good graphics, and that it's just an overall beautiful looking Pokemon game. Please, Pokemon Company and Game Freak, you can do it. I know you can. With proper hardware, it should be even easier. There's no excuses this time around, but I think at the very tail end of 2025, we could see that new Pokemon gen. Okay, so now we move on to 2026, and this is as far out as I'm going to go right now because I don't want to go for like the next 5 years, but for 2026, the games that I think would make sense that are coming back around, for one, Mario Maker 3. Now, 2025 would be 6 years since Mario Maker 3 because Mario Maker 3 came out in 2019, but I think it might be still a little too soon for that game because I think they might want to go a little bit more ambitious with it, so I'm going a 7-year development cycle for 2026. This could include things from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, for instance, maybe some Wonder Flower effects or presets that you can pick from, but they might even go bigger with this because I feel like just a Wonder theme isn't enough for Mario Maker 3. They kind of did that with Mario Maker 2, adding one new game style, and everybody's like, okay, what's the next one? And they didn't have anyone, and they had, you know, limited updates until eventually they were done. They need to have tons of free updates for this new Mario Maker game, and I think they still need to do something a little bit even more ambitious, like maybe 2 new game styles outside of just Wonder. Maybe they do something like Mario Bros. 2 officially, maybe they do something like Mario Land, or maybe even Yoshi's Island. We went through this multiple times of the things that they could do, maybe even a 3D Mario Maker, maybe making some more sandbox style 3D Mario levels where you can place blocks around and have the player reach the star in different ways by controlling them, like Mario 64 Mario Mario doing flips and wall jumps. Would be really cool to have kind of like an obstacle course in the sky like you would in Rainbow Ride in Mario 64. Just like a cool level editor where you can place blocks and obstacles and stuff to see if people can reach the end of your level would be monumental. And I mean, literally the possibilities are truly endless when you open into 3D just compared to 2D. Now, this one might be a little hit or miss. I can't really tell because Splatoon cycles might be a little different. It's still too young of a series to see kind of how it works, but it could be very quick the way Splatoon 3 was after Splatoon 2. So we could be getting Splatoon 4 in just 4 years. However, if I was a betting man, I'd say maybe it would take until 2027 until we see the next Splatoon game. That is a very long time, but with all the DLC and the side order stuff ending this year, I think there's going to be a year of a break, which is 2025, and then we'll see Splatoon return in 2026. And with this new console, they can actually go wild with this game. A lot bigger teams would be appreciative, and I think with a better console, with better hardware, this could be possible. Maybe more along the lines of 8v8 or 10v10 teams, like giant ground war battles would be so cool. Or maybe finally a real official battle royale from Nintendo. None of that eShop 99 stuff, I'm talking the real deal, where you will actually have you and 99 other Inklings. Okay, probably not that many because it's still Nintendo console we're talking about here. But maybe like you and like, let's say 49 other Inklings jumping down into a city or into a map full of many of the multiplayer maps where you can run around, loot, pick up your guns, and see who is the last one standing. I think would be really cool. But whatever this next Splatoon game is, it needs to be very different because Splatoon 2 felt like a bigger, better cultivation of everything from Splatoon 1, and Splatoon 3 felt kind of like the same thing for a lot of people, just like 1 and 2 brought together with even more new things added all together. But Splatoon 4, I think, needs to be something gigantically different to catch a lot of people's attention and to be something really spectacular on this new console. And the same exact situation goes for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, where it will be around 4 years. It could be a little sooner depending on when they started development on this next 3D Kirby game, but I think it is going to once again be a 3D Kirby game because Forgotten Land is already, I think, the best-selling game in that franchise for Kirby, which is awesome. So yeah, another 3D Kirby game. They really don't need to do anything super crazy. It doesn't need to be open world. Maybe more of a sandbox style Kirby along the lines of Mario 64 now would be cool, where you can fully move the camera and stuff. But still, if it's just along the same lines as Forgotten Land, but just a new type of, world to explore, new levels and stuff, I think people would still love it. That game is so good, and I think HAL Labs really struck gold with that. More Kirby, more 3D Kirby. Probably 2026. It might be later, it might be earlier. It's just up to HAL Labs and how fast they're developing this game. Now, this is something very interesting, and I wanted to put this on the tail end of this video because it's going to be a very, and I mean very long time until we see the next Zelda game, which is kind of sad to think about. Now, I think there's going to be lots of maybe smaller Zelda titles, ports, remakes, remasters, and maybe even some more 2D top-down Zelda-style games. But what about the next big open world Zelda game after Tears of the Kingdom? Oh, I don't know, because as of 2026, it will only be 3 years since Tears of the Kingdom, so we're probably not seeing anything with a new Zelda still, and that's kind of strange though with a brand new powerful console. Yeah, I feel like for the Switch 2, Nintendo's really going to be pushing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom for people to play for a long time until that new Zelda game. But I do believe the new Zelda game is finally going to take us to a new world with a new art style, maybe looking a little bit more realistic, ditching that shell shade art style that they've been going with for a while now, and really giving us a new Hyrule, a new Link, a new Zelda, and a new story, which is really, really well appreciative right now because I am tired of the world of Hyrule from Breath of the Wild. I think a lot of people are. But yeah, this is a strange one because you feel like Nintendo really wants to get this out at least the middle of the generation of this console, which I guess technically a couple years later is still not bad. But yeah, this might be like 2027, 2028, maybe even later than that until we see the next Zelda game, which just thinking about that is just crazy. I also almost forgot, from Fire Emblem Three Houses to Fire Emblem Engage, it was 4 years. We just got Fire Emblem Engage at the beginning of 2023. It's going to at least be 2026, 2027 probably, until we see another mainline Fire Emblem game. I do think there's like a remake, remaster, or port in the works currently, but yeah, Fire Emblem fans, you're gonna also have to wait for a very long time, probably. Yes, Pikmin fans, I'm sorry, this goes for us too. Pikmin's gonna be a while since Pikmin 3 just came out, and also so is Xenoblade. It might squeeze into 2026, but probably gonna shoot into 2027. But yeah, these 3 games gonna take a while until we see them again. So of course there's gonna be other small titles and stuff, but I have one big title left. One title that I think could really benefit from this new console. And that is Star Fox. And I'm putting this in a bonus category because I don't know what year it could happen. But obviously, you guys know Star Fox completely skipped the Nintendo Switch. And it looks like it's going to do so all the way until the end of the console's life cycle, which is sad. But the only thing that we got Star Fox technically in was in Starlink, where a lot of people believe that this is the best version of Star Fox. It's not even a Star Fox game. And everybody is begging for the devs of Starlink Battle for Atlas to actually make a Star Fox game. And I think the fans made their voices heard. There's no way Nintendo didn't hear how much people actually enjoyed that R-Wing gameplay in that game. So I am going out on a limb right now and saying that Nintendo is working on the most ambitious game that they have made in a very long time. I mean, as ambitious as Zelda Breath of the Wild and even this new Mario game that's apparently coming. They need to make a Star Fox game that's just like an open galaxy almost. You can fly from planet to planet, explore like almost the entirety of the planet. Probably not the whole thing if they're like huge planets, but you can just jump in the R-Wing, pop out whenever you want, and like control Fox on the ground. That's a lot better controlling than the Star Fox Assault, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, this would just be phenomenal. Just really put in all your effort to make the best Star Fox game you can. No more remaking the same story from Star Fox 64. Come on, take these characters and make a brand new, fun, interesting, exciting story. You can use Andros again for all I care. I don't care. Just don't make it the same story and just make it huge. Make it big. Don't make it be a Star Fox game that you can beat in 2 hours like they all are pretty much. Make it something that's worthwhile with cutscenes and adventure routes and maps and bosses, and just let there be so much gameplay. Let this be a AAA developed game, something that has spent years baking in the oven, and show how good it looks and runs on this new console. Come on, Nintendo, you can do it. I'm really hoping so. So those are all the big games that I think we can expect on this next console. Now, there's probably other big games that I may have missed, and these are just kind of the titles that have come out on the Switch, and kind of like lots of their sequels and maybe some new versions of some of these characters to see them on this brand new screen. So I'm excited for this new console. I can't wait to see what's coming. I'm still really excited for this Mario game coming because I'm sure it's going to be massive. But let me know what you're excited for most with a Switch 2 or Switch Pro, whatever the next console is. Is it something that I've already talked about? Is it something that maybe I didn't mention? Let me know in the comments down below. But before you go, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It goes a long way. We're trying to reach 300,000 subscribers very soon. So just do your part by leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed today's video. Thank you all for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.